Members present?
Shaquille Ali.
He's present in the parking lot.
Okay.
He's coming soon.
Marie Brizuela.
Here.
Clayton Koo.
Here.
Rebecca Douglas.
Here.
Manufo Leah Inga Anawai.
Here. All right, and we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. We have some students that will be leading us this evening. Could you please come forward?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and put your right hand over your heart.
Please start.
Good job.
So we'd like to welcome Benjamin Franklin Intermediate School's leadership class up, and who has a special presentation for us.
We have to,
Are they after?
no.
Or are they right here? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it leadership class?
You want us to come later?
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, I didn't think we were on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's been a long week already for me. No sleep. Team no sleep. I apologize. All right. Do we have a motion?
To approve the agenda. I would like to make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. At this time, we'd like to open up for a public hearing, and our public hearing will be on proposed adoption of developer fee study and increase of statutory school facilities fee. And we are going to begin right now at 7:05 p.m. And this is the governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will consider input from the public on the proposed adoption of a developer fee justification study for the district and an increase in the statutory school facilities fee established by the district against residential construction and reconstruction at $3.79 per square foot and against new commercial or industrial construction at 61 cents a square foot as approved by the State Allocation Board on January 24th, 2018. So at this time, do we have anyone that would like to speak? Okay. All right. So if we do not have any speakers, we will go ahead and close our public hearing at 7:06. All right. Thank you. All right, we will now move on to our special presentations. Recently, we had our spelling bee. It's one of the great events that we enjoy as a board and as a community, and we'd like to call up Assistant Principal Peter Clifford of Benjamin Franklin Intermediate School.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Hi, thank you all for having us tonight. Can I get the spelling bee participants? Can you come up, stand right here, please? We got one, and the others back there. We got two. Great. Thank you guys for coming in tonight. Three? We got three. Yay.
All right.
Good evening, all. Again, I'm Peter Clifford, Vice Principal at Ben Franklin. This year's spelling bee was quite a success, as it is every year, and this year was no different. We had a great time, and the kids were very scholarly, if you will. I also worked with Christina Christosimo, who is a tech support person in the district, and Vivian Forte, who is a admin intern. So the three of us worked on this grand event together. We co-facilitated this year's spelling bee. I want to first thank all the volunteers who came out to support us and help run the night. including LaDonna Barraza, the lovely Mrs. Cruz, Ann DeJeanette, Matt Driscoll, Lorraine Handy, Kathy Kelly, Faye Lewis, Sandy McCulloch, David Morris, Marilyn Newman, Liz O'Neill, Kiva Perry, Sasha Saibi, Bill West, and Tiffany Yang, who were all participants in reading the words and being judges. Also, a special thank you to Ms. Brizuela, Mr. Koo for supporting the spelling bee that night. Mr. Valenti and Mr. Vidales also joined us at some point. This year we had 34 students within the district who participated. 14 schools were present at night. And I'm going to introduce these fine students here who were winning of their grade level throughout the district. 4th grade, London Yapana. Congratulations, her winning word was protagonist. All right. 5th grade, Gianna Anginetti from MHT. Whose winning word was incredulous. Nikki Fernandez from 6th grade from Daniel Webster. Her winning word was Marogue. Congratulations. Jairo Valeria from TRP, a 7th grade winner. His winning word was Chipotle. Yeah. And Jenny Hu from FDR, her winning word was bureaucracy, who was also our district winner. So at this point, I think you guys have something you'd like to hand
Yeah, at
them,
this
or-
point, we'd love to offer some congratulatory remarks and also provide our winners with certificates. So I don't know if anyone has any words to share before we present certificates to our...
I just want to add my congratulations. Those were some great words, and I know that you worked really hard to get to that point, and I know how scary it is to stand there and try and spell with everybody looking at you. So super congratulations for doing so well.
I also want to second congratulations as well too. I remember, I think I came at the end of the 3rd or 4th grade one, and that one went on for quite a bit. So I want to congratulate everyone who participated, as well as our district winner as well.
Well, I enjoyed it. I loved going to the spelling bee again. And I'm learning to go to the upper grades first because there's less of you. And it goes faster, so you can see as many of the students as you can. But I have to say to everyone who participated, no matter how many words they spelled or when they were eliminated, they were all great and they got there for a reason because they worked hard. And I want to say that sometimes the easiest word can stop you only because there's nerves. You know, you get nervous when everybody's watching you. But I want to say you guys were all great, and if we could give everybody a straight A, we would. It was a wonderful event, and I'm real happy to be a part of it. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to the parents for supporting them, too, and the teachers. You all had something to do with it.
So once again, congratulations to all the students, and also thanks to all the judges, everyone who was out there that evening. Keep up the great work, and keep up your zest and zeal for spelling. And I noticed that a lot of students nowadays just go to spell check and they're not focusing on spelling. So a lot of people don't even open up dictionaries, so keep it up. Great job.
Thank you again to everyone that took part in organizing it, and especially to our winners and their families. And at this time, we'd like to present you all with a small token of appreciation. We'll start with Dr. Douglas.
And Madam President, may I say that we have 2 representatives here from the Rotary Clubs of South San Francisco and Daly City. We have Mr. James Kalakal, former president of the Rotary Club of Daly City, and our fan favorite, former superintendent, Mr. Mateo Rizzo, who's here from the Rotary Club of South San Francisco. And they have gifts for our winners today. So they're going to go old school. They're going to get a backpack-friendly dictionary and a dictionary of spelling that helps with how to spell and remember how to spell difficult-to-spell words. So,
Thank you very much. So maybe if you would you like to present it separately or join
Join.
the board members?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I have a certificate here for
Yeah. She's not here.
So I have a certificate for Gianna Anginetti, but she's not in attendance tonight, but we'll give her her gift later. Yeah. But we should clap for her as well.
Me? I have one here. Let's see, I think I heard her name. Is Nika Fernandez here?
For outstanding achievement in the 2018 spelling bee, Jairo Valera.
And we'll also make sure that Jenny, who receives hers, she's not here with us this evening, but congratulations to her as well.
Thank you, and until next year, go Spelling Bee.
Thank you again. Now we have a presentation from Ben Franklin, and it's Leading in the Library. So at this time, we have our librarian, Justine Kay, and the students who will share how Ben Franklin School's library programs connect students.
Hi, I'm Justine Kay. No,
Thank
I'm James Parrish, the principal of Ben Franklin, and just wanted to introduce Justine, as well as we had our leadership class wanted to present, and then have Justine and those students present afterwards. And so we have Miss McKittrick, Lisa McKittrick, who is the teacher for our leadership class, and so I'm going to have her come on up and introduce the students she's with.
Thank you so much. It's been really super exciting this year. We've started a leadership class at Ben for the first time in I don't know how long. And the girls, Carly and Mika, are really excited too. This is our president and our appointed event coordinator for the 8th grade gala. Mika and Carly would like to just kind of tell you a little bit about how that's been going. So.
Good evening, esteemed school board. It's Clayton. My name is Carly Burton. I'm the secretary for a leadership class, which is a new class, and we're inventing new ideas on the way.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Miki Inko. As Ms. Kittrick said, I am the so-called event coordinator for the 8th grade gala. The kind of purpose of this class, of course, Carly said this is a new class. We are serving and helping our school and also the community. There are many things that we do at Ben Franklin leadership class. During the school year, we have helped with the reproduction of the garden. The 6th graders have started it, but we have also helped out with the help of the rest of the students. We've also created many spirit days. Like last week on Friday, we have created the Columbine Spirit Day on 420 for the 420 Columbine shooting. And recently, we have also done recycling for teachers. Every Wednesday on recycling day, 1 or 2 pairs of students have went to teachers' classrooms and recycled for them, emptied the recycling. And the final thing that I'm going to be talking about is also our gala that's coming up on June 1st, the 8th grade farewell gala. There's nothing much happening right now. We're just starting, but you guys want to know the theme is actually red carpet.
we cut out and distribute the soar bucks, which are
Kind of our currency.
kind of like a currency for Falcons. We also help out with running the Falcon store after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we do the morning bulletin as well. And we do a lot of fundraising. We've done we've done a few fundraisers, which were Valentine's Day grams and the holiday grams. So I have some here, so I'm just gonna come up and give it to you.
Oh, wow.
Little treats. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
She said she could help.
Yeah, I belated by the way. We also helped during Multicultural Night. Julian Brigado has designed the brochure, the design on the front. It was beautiful art, by the way. We've also supported other organizations, like we've done Pennies for Patients recently, and we have done the Eyeglass Drive. And a special trip that we also done was Teens Tackle Tobacco at UC Berkeley. And that's about it. Thank you for having us.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Justine Kay, our librarian.
Ooh, I like the stool that I want. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, no, I mean evening. Here's my clicker. I want to introduce myself. If you don't know me, I'm Justine Kay. I'm the Ben Franklin Library and Media teacher, and you can find me at our library website, bit.ly/bflibsite, which all our students know how to get to, or you can email me. Yes. Before I get started, I want to take the temperature of the room. So I'm going to say a statement. If the statement is true to you, stand up and stay standing. If it's not true, sit down. Okay. So the first statement, stand up if you consider yourself a voracious reader. You love to read. Any free time, you'll grab a book. You just love it. Okay? Thank you. Stay standing, okay? That's okay. Stay standing. The second, stand up as well if you like to read. I mean, maybe you don't do it all the time, but you like it when you have the chance. All right. Thank you. Stay standing. And the last one, stand up if you prefer other activities like gaming, watching movies, doing outdoor activities. All right, thank you. You, just like all of our students at Ben Franklin, are all welcome to the library. You may take a seat. All right. Thank you for participating. Our mission as the JESD school libraries, just like at Ben Franklin, is to create a safe and nurturing place for our learners to thrive and fulfill their potential, whether they are voracious readers or students who like to read or someone who has other preferences for their free time. But ultimately, we want to develop lifelong patterns of learning, and students feel that they want to come to the library. So I'm going to walk you through 7 steps of highlights of our school library and then introduce you to some students who'd like to share their experience with you. So the first is our library lessons. So we have library lessons in our library all week, mostly English language arts teachers. If you notice, the students on the right are from Miss Haley's ELD class. These are students who are learning English as a second or third or even fourth language. They're right next door to the library, which is a great learning experience. They come over to check out books, to engage in curriculum, and to learn more about technology. With the one-to-one Chromebook program, we really found that students are more engaged, that we can teach them these research skills that will benefit them in life and other academic settings. On the left here, you see Heba. Heba is from the special day class, and she comes in every week with her class on Wednesdays. Heba, you would think, middle school, they're not so loving, but Heba she loves to give hugs, so I really like that she shows that in the library. And I know her so well that she comes up to me, I know exactly what books she wants to read. There have been over 2,159 class visits so far this year, and it's still going strong. So we love the library at our school. Second, Maker Monday. I was here a few months back and I talked about our maker space in the library where we explore STEAM. Okay, quick test. Turn to your neighbor. What does STEAM stand for? Go. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let's see. Did you get it right? Did you get it right? In the library, every Monday, we have students that come in to do those other than reading activities, right? Things like art. Christelle, she's our resident artist. We have Jeremiah, who made a popsicle stick flashlight out of an LED light and a copper tape. We have Lance and his crew in the top right corner creating a maze with marbles. Francis editing a video. Veronica making a stop animation character for a movie. And there in the right corner is Miss Lewis teaching students how to make toilet paper roll characters during the holidays. Up next, we have Ben Book Club, connecting our students to books. Whether a student is a voracious reader, they might come to Ben Book Club, or maybe they just like books, or maybe they just really like the snacks, okay? But that's okay because it's middle school and membership is important. So we meet twice a month and we vote, read, and discuss. We have about 60 students spread between 2 lunch periods, and we read 1 new book each quarter. Coming next to Mouse Squad. Do you have a tech problem? Well, Mouse Squad is there to help you. Who are you gonna call Mouse Squad, okay? No need for Ghostbusters here, because if you're a teacher and your Chromebook breaks, projector isn't working, the printer isn't working, and Will Smith is at a different campus, it is okay, because we have our Mouse Squad. I partner with Miss Lewis, the advanced computers teacher, and we pull together the students. I take some out from the class and we work on training them tech techniques and ways to solve problems for teachers and students, and then they go out and solve the problem. Also, you'll notice these pictures are from Miss Lewis's SFO field trip that we took the advanced computer students to, where they could go behind the scenes and learn about the emergency operations of the airport and come up with different career options for their future. All right, coming in next, we have the book fair. Raise your hand if you've been to a book fair. Yes, very popular in our district. And I know it's a way to fundraise, but even more so, it is a way to get kids excited about books. We sold over 700 books, which equates to that much reading time, a lot of minutes and a lot of hours. And I'm really an advocate for getting students involved. So you see the students there, they were helping as managers, customer service representatives, PR reps as well. And we have our parent volunteers like Miss Murphy, Mr. Hurtado. And even though middle school students, they don't really want their parents around because it might be embarrassing, it actually helps them. Students who have their parents at school are more likely to succeed. Now I have connections with the parents. The kids know, oh, they know the librarian, they know my teacher, so they'll work harder in school. And of course, can't do it without the teachers. Did you hear about the author visit? Yay! Okay, let me tell you a story. I got this book in my mailbox in the office, and I was like, what is this? There's no note, just a book. And so I picked it up, put it down, right? I didn't have time, but I got back to it, and I read it, and it was called Fred Korematsu Speaks Up by Laura Atkins and Stan Yogi. And I read about it, and I went online, and I saw that they visit schools. So I coordinated their visit. Mr. Parrish supported us in making this happen, and they came out to our school. Before that, students read the book with their language arts teachers. We discussed it. They researched Fred. a little bit about him. He was from Oakland, California, Japanese American, and during World War II, he was wrongly put into a Japanese internment camp, and he spoke up and fought for his rights as well as the others that were affected. And students were so inspired that you notice these students here spoke up during the presentation and shared their experiences. Even Andrea over there from El Salvador, who's here her first year, she's there speaking up in front of a room full of 200 students. It was very impressive. Lastly, before we have some students up here, I wanted to let you know that we did earn the grant for AASL, which is the American Association of School Librarians. It's the Inspire Grant. And our proposal that we put together was the Mosaic of Readers. And the idea, okay, it's going to happen next year, so this is just a dream, but we do have the funding now. We're going to put together tiles that students design of their favorite books, most influential and inspiration books from middle school, represent them with images or quotes, and then create a mural. So that's coming soon. Who knows how it will turn out, but we're really excited to see the process. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. These are some of the best students because they are dedicated library aides. It's not even a class, they come in the morning, every single lunch to help. And I'd like to introduce you to Alice and Iris Lee. Give her a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I'm an aide in the Ben Franklin Library. My name is Alice Lee, and 6th grader at Ben Franklin Intermediate School. Working in the library is where my first experiences begin, like when I had my first time of checking in and out books, showing books, and being in Ben Book Club for the first time. Working in the library provides many resources such as books that are useful towards students. It's the very reason why I enjoy spending my lunchtime in the library. The library can help me in the future by giving me a job that involves library work circulation since I'm already familiar with it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Iris Lee, and I'm an aide in the library. My personal experience with the library starts before I became an aide. The activities that the library had hosted taught me things that had the word fun and learning combined. Through the library, I learned to catalog, shelf, and sticker books, a skill I can carry on throughout my future. My favorite activity put up by the library is Ben Book Club, because through Ben Book Club, students venture through different genres and have discussions amongst the group. I learned how to create a poem good enough to enter a poetry contest. I found out about the poetry contest from the library. It gave me my first experience of entering a poetry contest. The library provides students like me an opportunity to have a peek at the real world. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next guests are library regulars, Mr. Justin, and he's brought a friend, Mr. Milton, who's after school, he helps check in the books. So we'll start with Justin. Put your hands together for these two.
Hello, good evening. My name is Justin No, and this is my partner,
Milton.
So my experience at the library is my favorite place in the whole school. Whenever I go to a book club, I love reading the new book that we do every quarter. It's like a whole new world for us. I love that how we ever do projects at Ben Book Club, like how we read the book Wonder, how we did a project about a 3D model of a painting, and it was like kind of like an illusion. We also did a project during Maker Monday. It was one of my favorites. It was during Christmas, I believe. We made a card with copper tape and a battery to make a light up Christmas tree card. Those are some of my favorite times during Ben Book Club and Maker Monday. When I first stepped into the library, I knew it would be my favorite place in the whole school. And here goes my partner Milton.
One thing I like to do at the library is help Miss Kay check in and check out books. Another thing that I like doing
is hanging out with Justin and my other friends that go, and I like to talk to other people and check out books that I haven't read at my old school.
Thank you, Justin and Milton. So I'd like to leave you all with a quote and a photo. A literacy-rich environment provides a setting that encourages students in a variety of authentic ways. And you can see those 4 6th grade boys there engaged in their Chromebooks on something. But you also notice that around them is a library full of books. And it is proven, according to the International Reading Association, that students who are surrounded by print materials are more likely to check out books and to improve with their speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And the library does just that. I thank you for your time. Any questions you can ask now or find us up at our library website or email me. Thank you.
Board trustees, do we have any questions for Ms. Kay or any of the students that just presented? No?
I don't have any questions, but thank you for your energy and for presenting this tonight. We fought a lot to keep, libraries functioning in our district, and I know when I was in school, that was actually my favorite place to be as well. And I commend those students for going in there and volunteering and working in there like they're doing as well.
Well, I want to say this is full of energy. I may lose my voice, but I haven't lost the heart. Anyway, as a child, that's where my sister and I and brother went after school every day, was the library. I don't know why we didn't buy books, probably because we didn't have enough money, but we always stopped in and got something. And then when we stopped, we got an ice cream cone too. It was a long walk. I mean, in those days, people walked, not like today. But I know that we love the library all the time, and I love this program because it's exciting. It's fun. It's not like, oh, we're going to a boring library. No, it's fun, and you're making it fun. Thank you for your energy that you're bringing and passing on to everyone. And I want to stop by and talk with you because I want to talk to you about another child who went to Ben Franklin many years ago, and who actually read the dictionary from page 1 to the end, like this big. And the library of Ben Franklin is dedicated in his memory. So that's something I would like you to share with all the students, that children can find their love in a library and in books, and it opens the door for many things. So thank you. I'm excited, everything. And I'm taking this home and I'm going to hang it up. Carly, thank you, Carly. I love the way I see everybody engaged, and that's what this is really all about, is engaging all the students. Thank you so much.
I also want to echo the comments from my other board members that I want to thank Ms. Kay and all the teachers and staff at Ben Franklin for doing a great job. It sounds like you've made the library a lot more fun than when I was a student, and that wasn't actually that long ago. But I just want to say thank you for all that you do. Makers Monday, I remember when we had that presentation about it. It sounds like a great thing, as well as your author talks. I just want to thank you for that. I also want to thank the students who talked about student government at Ben Franklin. It sounds like you guys have done great things so far, and I just want to say keep the great work.
I'll add my thanks for working so hard and making some really exciting and vibrant programs there at Ben. And I just want to extend my congratulations and thanks to all the students who came tonight and spoke to us. I know that sometimes takes courage, and probably those books and reading helped you to know that you're going to be able to say something and say it right. So keep on reading.
I think everything's been said, but I get super emotional to see that you're creating magic there. I really feel it's magic because so many students don't enter the library anymore, and that's by choice. But you've got students who presented tonight who are willingly coming, And it's because you're providing that opportunity, and your energy I can see why. You're creating that positive space for them. So thank you. And thank you to Principal Parrish and all of the administrators who helped to facilitate this as well. And I hope that all of you that attend the library activities, you continue to bring a friend and grow all of the programs and the opportunities that are happening there. So thank you to everyone. We have certificates that we like to present, but I have to make an apology on behalf of the board. We unfortunately missed one of the students tonight. Milton, I'm so sorry to you and your family, but can we give a big round of applause for Milton? We'll make sure that you get your certificate at school. So we apologize for not having that for you tonight, but we will start with Trustee Ali in presenting our certificates to everyone who who conducted the Pledge of Allegiance and also who presented this evening.
Certificate of Appreciation for Alice Lee.
So the first one I have, certificate of appreciation in the presentation this evening, Iris Lee. And the second one I have is for Justin, no?
But we'll take it too.
Milton will take it for him.
I can give it. It's a package deal.
He's in my side.
He's getting one.
I have a certificate of appreciation for Justin Bergauer.
I have certificate for Carly Burton.
Hey, Carly.
We also have certificates for Kristen Huddleston and Aaliyah, I'm sorry if I, Camilla Mella? Yeah, so, yeah, so we'll make sure that you, Kristen, I'm sorry, are you here, Kristen? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Kristen, you came in. Certificate of appreciation for the flag ceremony, Kristen Huddleston. Thank you again, everyone. As mentioned earlier, it takes a lot of courage to get up and speak in front of a large crowd. It's great to see a great turnout tonight. Thank you all for attending. Right now, we will move on to communications, to board member acknowledgements, and we will start with Vice President Koo.
I just want to wish everyone coming back from spring break. I guess that was a couple weeks ago, but just want to wish everybody all the best for the rest of the school year. I also want to make an announcement for a upcoming AFT and district event. It's tomorrow night, April 26th. It's a puberty and teen talk hosted by Health Connected at the district office, 101 Lincoln Avenue from 6 to 7:30. Just want to extend an invitation for everybody to attend that.
Dr. Douglas?
I'm pretty sure that there's been a lot that's happened since our last board meeting, but I'm sure I remember that last night we did have our district arts fair. I missed most of it unfortunately, most of the performances, but I was able to get there in time to see the last couple of dances and a chance to look at some of the fantastic art. And I just want to extend my congratulations to all the students who participated, all the teachers and parents who made that happen, and appreciate that we have that opportunity to see the amazing, vibrant art that happens in our district.
Thank you. Trustee Ali?
Yes, I would like to commend the after-school programs at JFK School, TR Policita, and SBA. I did site visits with Mr. Superintendent Vidales, I believe, last week, and I was actually amazed by what I saw. I saw lots of students, more than I expected, that were there after school, engaged in learning, with getting homework help, team building activities outside. I mean, there was so much going on at all three of the programs. It really made me feel proud of our district and how we're extending, the hours of the regular school day beyond to let the students learn more and have activities while their parents are still at work. So I just wanted to commend those three schools for their after-school programs.
Well, I just realized something a couple of seconds ago. My mic was been off. So you probably just didn't hear anything I said. That's okay. But I'm sorry. My mic was off, so I didn't realize that. But I do want to congratulate everybody for all the good things that are happening in our district. And also, I would like to ask that we close in memory of some folks that have passed on that either worked in the district or children went to our schools or participated in things with our district for many years. So one is Catherine Hayden. One is Julia Pedretti, who was also, she was the first, I think, president of the school, Como School, and the original Como School, and also the Como Intermediate School. Cecilia Enright and Florence Highland, who just most recently passed on. She worked in our district and she worked in one of the personnel offices. And there's a couple others, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting some of the names. Do we have any extra that you have that I?
We have here, we have a few that we will
Okay,
mention.
okay, good. Okay, because I think I left my other list home. Anyway, it seems like, I guess, many of them are about that same age, and they're just sort of going about the same time. But it's great to be able to go, and I've gone to some of these services and how they talk highly of our district and what they really loved it. So that means a lot to us. So other than that, I think that's all I'm going to say right now, because I'm excited about all the good things going on.
Yeah. Yes, we have a full agenda. You're right. There's a lot of great things happening here. I, too, attended, sorry, Mr. Turner, I had to pull him away because I had to rush off to a Commission on Status of Women meeting and had to pull you away to open the gate. But it was so impressive to see all of the artwork. I was able to get there early enough to see everything that was presented. And as mentioned, it just gives you a lot of pride to see what is happening, academically, but to see our students be able to really express themselves through art. It was pretty phenomenal because some of those projects, I was just saying to Trustee Brusuela, there was an area where I saw some of the kindergarten, it was a kindergarten, first grade area, a mom was there, and I was like, I didn't think that was young artists at that age. I thought that was maybe third grader work, but it was pretty impressive. The mom was explaining to me. But I also wanted to mention the Master Chefs competition that we were able to be at. We enjoyed all of the great food that the students presented there as well. So that's another great event celebrating our students. So we have a lot of wonderful things happening in our district. So thank you again to everybody who takes part in that. And so at this time, we will move on to correspondence and superintendent comments.
No correspondence, but again, thanks to all of our staff for preparing and working with our students in the many different ways that they do. And we're coming upon the month of March, month of May. We have left the month of March and we're going into the month of May, which is the busiest month in the school year calendar. And so be prepared for the onslaught of activities, multiple activities to choose from any night of the week.
Thank you. So administrator comments, please.
I know we have a long meeting, so I'll just keep it to what's new, what hasn't been said. Last week, we had our summer activity expo, so it was at JFK, and we had a great turnout. People were there before it even started, and so it was a very full event, and people got lots of ideas about what to provide for their children in the summer. Tomorrow, if you want to make a day of it at the district office, not only is there the health connected training for parents and families, but we also have a draft of our local control accountability plan from 3:30 to 4:30. It's just really going to be the summary. I'll have the whole 150-page document if you want to look at it, but I also have about a 5-page document for folks to see what actions we're recommending that are new or revised. And so we welcome everyone. We'll have some snacks. It'll be just about an hour, and it'll be an opportunity to ask questions or leave comments, and then those will be shared publicly, answers to the questions on our website.
Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to recognize, we saw a great assembly over at TRP last Monday on the 16th, brought to us by Mr. Turner and Ms. Frias, called Ill-Abilities. It's a group of folks, or hip-hop breakdancing group of students that have disabilities. And they just talked about their stories and struggles that they had as younger folks, but really focused on all the positive, and you know, their motto is no excuses, no limits. And you know, the kids were in there, I guess there's probably about 300 and plus kids in each assembly, and they were just really focused, and it was a real good positive thing, and it tied in, of course, to Ms. Frias's dance background. And I just want to put out there, we do have our joint middle school band concert coming up. It will be taking place at TRP on Tuesday, the 1st at 6:30, so we hope you can make it.
Thank you.
I'd just like to congratulate the spelling bee winners. It's wonderful that they can do that, kind of beating us, many of us. And also Miki and Carly and Alice and Iris and Justin and friend Milton, who have all left, for their coming up and telling us and sharing their experiences and participating in the library and the leadership. And I think that's wonderful. And also the Master Chef as well, which had a lot of wonderful food as usual. And I think it's really wonderful that these kids get to show what they can do. And it's one of the arts, cooking.
Thank you. So before we move on to persons wishing to address the board, we have Jenny who has joined us, one of our spelling bee winners.
Hey.
Please come on. Want to take a picture? Did you want to? You should come and join us as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, she was good. She was good.
What was her word? I know about Chipotle for the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
At this time, anyone wishing to address the board can submit a comment card. And this portion of the agenda is available for individuals who wish to comment on or address the board on any issues that is not under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. And the maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. And we have a speaker card from Pamela Di Giovanni. I don't, just has public comment here. I'm not sure what you'll.
Good evening, honorable board members. I just want to say that community members, I'm trying to get the word out that no matter who you are in the community, if you come here, you're so inspired and full of hope for our future when you see all these little ones and all the teachers and all the hard work and the board puts in as a great district. There's so many things that even just as attending a multicultural night and sitting there and watching everyone. But the one reasons I came here tonight and to make sure that I want to acknowledge on the anniversary of the Columbine, tragedy, there were teachers standing on the corner for the safety of their students. And they were so relentless, and they made these great homemade signs. They stood there with conviction, full of love and hope that this has to end. And I applaud them for everything they do. They do not know what they're going to face when they walk in the classroom, but their commitment to their students is there. Even no matter what happens, they're there for them. So it's very inspiring. I'd like to encourage more community members, even like me, if you don't have children, because it's all of us together that can end this and make a better future together. Board members, people that are busy, anyone can come to that corner. It's just holding up a sign and getting those beeps and knowing that there are other people out there, get that reinforcement. It's got to be done. So I've been asked a question on several occasions while out in the community, and I don't know the answer, but you can address it at some other time. But I know that they're asking me, are there locks? Some parents have asked me, are there locks on the doors, new locks on these doors? And I don't know. I didn't want to ask. So maybe in the future, if you can put that out to the public, it would be very helpful, because a couple of parents from Woodrow asked me, and some other people in Safeway, and I don't even know why they're asking me, but or Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. You see everybody there. But if you can address that and see if the locks have been changed in all the schools and every single one of them, that would be great for the community to know and be reinforced. But thank you to the board, the superintendent, and especially these great teachers that are committed to these students.
Thank you, Ms. DiGiovanni. So we will take note of that, and I'm sure the superintendent. Thank you. We'll take note of the comment. At this time, we will move on to our general functions, but I did want to make a note of some changes that are to be made to.
It was item
agenda.
13B.
13, we have 13A and 13, is that correct?
Yeah,
Superintendent?
13B is the consent item.
And as well as 13A, we need to remove. is that-
Yeah.
You have to
Yes.
remove it from the consent.
And then 13B to change the resignation date from the 31st to August 1st.
So, yeah, so that's for 13B, and then 13A, we need to remove the retirement
entire item
request.
for Mr.
Yes.
Rooney.
Okay,
Thank you.
so noted, thank you. Okay, all righty. Okay, all right. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as modified.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. We are now at 16. Sorry? It's okay. It's okay. It's a long agenda tonight, so we are at 10.
Or 9.
Nine,
Sorry.
9C. Right? 9C.
Okay. We're at 9C, resolution number 18-0425A, Classified Administrative Professionals Day. So the administration recommends adoption of this resolution designating April 25th as Classified Administrative Professionals Day. So do we have a motion?
So does this include,
But I thought this was on the action.
who does this include?
It's not,
It's administrative professionals. That would be school office assistants, department assistants, executive assistants. Those are the administrative professionals in the district. Office support.
Ms. Colbert is one of them?
yes, she is.
Do you want one circled?
Then I would be more than happy to make a motion that we approve Resolution 180425A to designate April 25th, 2018 as Classified Administrative Professionals Day.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
quickly.
That is a resolution, but do we need a roll call vote on that?
Oh, yeah, this one?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Just as a little point of order there.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Dr. Douglas,
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai.
Aye.
Okay. Now, D.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doubly approved.
Okay, so
So now we have Resolution 180425B, and this is for National and California Day of the Teacher.
I'll make that motion to approve it. 180425B.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call?
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela.
Aye.
Mr. Koo.
Aye.
Dr. Douglas.
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai.
Aye.
All right, and that's May 8th.
Resolution 180425C, National School Nurse Day. The administration recommends adoption of this resolution designating May 9th as National School Nurse Day.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 180425C, National School Nurse Day.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Yes, second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela.
Aye.
Mr. Koo.
Aye.
Dr. Douglas.
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai.
Aye. Thank you. It's wonderful resolution celebration. We will now have 2018-19 AFT contract proposal, Sunshine, and schedule of public hearing. Public hearing will be held on May 9th on AFT Local Number 3267, contract proposal for the 2018-2019 school year. All right, do we have a
I move that
dialogue,
we
questions, or
approve
motion?
the public hearing, or, okay. So I move that we approve the public hearing to be held on May 19, 2018 on AFT Local
The
3267.
May 9th.
Oh, what am I looking at? May 9th,
Yeah.
Yes.
2018 on AFT Local 3267, contract proposal for the 2018-2019 school year.
Do we have a
Second.
We have a second. And this one is also roll call?
Voice
Or is it voice vote? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. May 9th. All right, 2018-19 JESD counter proposal to AFT Local Number 3267, Sunshine, and schedule of public hearing. A public hearing will be held on the JESD's counter proposal to AFT for the 2018-19 school year on May 9th. And JESD is proposing to reopen negotiations on the following articles as listed. Do we have a discussion or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also noted for May 9th.
That's all.
All right, we are looking now at
C.
10C, Mathematics and English Language Arts, English Language Development Curriculum Adoption Process. Miss Trish Start and Miss Jessica Pace, Math and English Language Arts Program Directors, will inform the board and the public on the curriculum adoption process for TK through 8. We're looking forward to this. Thank you.
We are too. It's been a lot of work. Good evening, honorable board members. My name is Trish Start, and I'm the math program director for this year. And on behalf of our team specifically, I'd like to introduce Chris Acquisti, math coach, Beverly Liano, math coach, and Michelle Corribas, math coach. So we're excited to be here, and I hope you enjoy our presentation.
Great, and we've decided to do a joint presentation of both our Math Pilot Committee as well as our ELA-ELD Pilot Committee. Representing our ELA-ELD Pilot Committee, we have Lisa Rizzo, Anna Garcia, Rachel Paget, and Maravik Corpus.
Okay, our presentation tonight will be a brief explanation of the year-long process to get to this point where pilot committee teachers are making recommendations for ELA, ELD, K-8, 6-8 adoption, and K-8 math. Okay. Using state guidelines primarily, we wanted to really understand the key features of any program, but perhaps most importantly, we wanted to merge those key components with what we determined to be the needs of JESD students. Programs were selected that met some key criteria determined by the state. We had some publisher presentations, and from those key criteria, in-depth checklists and debating and thorough examination, 2 programs were selected for pilot committee teachers to implement in depth. And through the year-long process, teachers tried a program for 6 weeks, came back, reflected on how it met our student needs, and that process will be further detailed by some of my committee colleagues.
Our TK to 8 math pilot committee consisted of 25 TK to 8th grade teachers. We had 3 math coaches involved, an RSP inclusionist specialist, a student support resource teacher, as well as site administrators, a director of tech integration, as well as our interim math program director.
And representing our ELA ELD committee, we had 9 committee members, some of which are here this evening. If you participated and you're already standing, raise your hand. If you're here and you participated, if you would please stand so we can acknowledge you. I know Ms. Baroni is here, and we had a few teachers. Mr. Hagan is here. I'll just call them out, and I won't make them stand. But we had 19 members. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And we had teachers representing our 4 middle schools, as well as our coaches, tech integration specialists, our RSP inclusion specialists, a counselor, Ms. Baroni, our director of tech integration, Mrs. Martinez, our student service program specialist, as well as myself serving on the committee.
And we also have a lot of our math committee teachers here, so I want to do a shout out to them. If you could stand up. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So we wanted to just give you a summary of our process that began early in the fall, actually in the summer. Early when we returned to work, we had some coaches and us work with the county to kind of narrow down some of the ideas and programs we thought would be best recommended to bring forth to the larger group. In September, we had a kickoff meeting. We also brought the information and the materials that we were going to be looking deeper into to our PIAC meeting in the fall. And we had in October publisher presentations from those programs that are listed there. In the middle school, we had College Preparatory Math, Connected Mathematics 3, and Pearson Envision 2. And then for the TK through 5, we had Pearson Envision, the Math Learning Center, Bridges, Houghton Mifflin Expressions, and Pearson Turk Investigations. After the presentations, the committee voted and narrowed it down to the 2 that we piloted in the fall from November through January, and those were Pearson 2.0 and CPM. In the winter, we had an open house where we invited all JESD colleagues and coworkers to come and check out the materials if they were not on the committee. By that time, the buzz was going around of what these programs are like as a pilot teacher, and people wanted to come learn more. So we offered them an opportunity to come down to JFK after school. We also had some committee members visit a school in Pacifica, Ocean Shore, that also did a pilot and is in their 2nd year of implementation. And it really gave our pilot teachers as well as our coaches an understanding of what these particular programs could look like if they were rolled out in our district. We got some great ideas and support from them. We then had our coaches on the ground with their boots running into those classrooms and checking out what this looked like and how to support a 6-week intense instructional time that is a curriculum replacing what you're used to. So we were really proud to have them out in the classrooms and support that. We held a debrief And then we had the next round of materials training and pilot window. So you'll see there for pilot 2, we had our TK through 5 with bridges, and 6 through 8 had CMP3. Our second window was February through March. So we had the breaks, came back, and hit the ground running with some training and out the gate early February. Heading into spring, we continued our pilot through March, and we had information sessions at sites where our coaches went to principal coffees, they went to some staff meetings, they supported our pilot teachers in rolling out information at their staff meetings, planning and helping them prep for those. So we really wanted to have our coaches support our pilot teachers at the schools, at their meetings, at their collaborative planning times to really get everybody to understand what these programs were looking like. We held our debrief and our vote in April, and we have our recommendation today to you. Moving forward in the spring and summer of 18, we have had the materials on display at the district office. Our next steps would be to order materials. We'll talk a little bit later about some professional development that we are drafting and how our teaching and learning teams will continue to support implementation.
Okay, thank you. Hi. We followed a similar process, and this is our timeline. Oh, sorry. This is our timeline. Also in September, we had a kickoff where we looked at the guidelines in the State of California Adoption Toolkit, and we talked about, we had 4 publishers that we were thinking about. In October, we did we had presentations by all 4 publishers, and then we narrowed it down to 2 series. One of our goals, since we have the one-to-one devices, we wanted to have a strong online component. So we narrowed it down to Amplify. That's one of our pilots, and Study Sync was the other one. So that's our timeline for having our pilot. At the end of our pilot, we got together, at the end of our pilot, we gathered data from students and teachers. We sent out a survey. We have data from students and teachers, and Lisa will be talking about that. And then we followed the same process with the second series, which is the Study Sync. We did the same thing. We had the pilot window. And then at the end of that time, we gathered data from students and teachers. So that was good. And then in April, everyone came together again, the whole committee, teachers and all the other, the coaches and the other people that were involved. And we made a recommendation, or we came to consensus about what our recommendation would be for the new 6 through 8 ELA, ELD curriculum. And I also wanted to say that, yeah, we had the opportunity to be in teachers' classrooms. So we also got to see what it was really like and what was happening in the classrooms with the series. And
All right, so in highlighting the program that we are recommending for TK to 5th grade, Bridges, wanted to let you know that it is a comprehensive program. It's a curriculum that's grounded in focus, coherence, rigor, as well as the math practices. It emphasizes learning as a process. It also has lessons that are engaging for our students. It has lessons that are probing thinking as well as discussion within their groups. And it develops deep understanding of the concepts as well as the proficiency of their skills they're developing. And then lastly, there is an online component for both students and for teachers as well. Hello. I am here to talk about the 6 to 8 recommendation, which is for our middle schools. And it is Connected Mathematics, which is a Pearson, from the Pearson company. And what has been different this time is having a curriculum that actually connects, like the title says. It connects from grade to grade. So it's a really intense curriculum that develops math concepts with our new, or not so new, standards now. So they are all problem-centered. They identify big ideas and goes for depth. There is coherence of the underlying concepts, skills, and procedures that develop through the investigations in the program through the grades. So it really, we saw, these teachers saw how 6th grade connects to 7th, connects to 8th, which is really nice. It intertwines conceptual and procedural knowledge. It develops skills and concepts. It promotes inquiry-based instruction, which is a continuation of work that we have been doing with partnerships that we've had in the past, continuing that math work of teaching not just what to teach in math, but how to teach math. And so that was a big focus for our middle school teachers. And promoting technology, which all the programs do, and of course has high expectations for all students. Oh, I do, yeah. So we have some teachers who have come today to speak, and we really appreciate that they went over and above. Coming here is over and above even piloting 2 programs, which is sort of like an interruption in your planning process, but they took on the challenge. They came back and held really rich discussions about the math, about the teaching, about the practices. So there's some quotes up there that students, we took some student surveys. The most valuable part of this program to me is that it challenged me. The challenging questions required a lot of thinking, and I was able to develop my way of thinking because of those questions, so really inquiry-based. And so today we have Michelle Bushman, a kindergarten teacher from DW, Catherine Tompkins, 4th grade teacher from George Washington, and Matthew Fredericks, who's a 6th grade teacher at Ben Franklin. And they're here to tell you a little bit about what they experienced.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me here today. I'm excited to share with you what I experienced using Bridges Mathematics with my class. I teach kindergarten at Daniel Webster, and as a teacher, I found it simple to execute, and with a provided teacher script, I appreciated the classroom management section as well for certain lessons. They provided it for those activities that are a little more active for the students and how we can make sure they're still learning during the process. My students were excited about math. They were given the opportunity to strategize and discuss what they're finding with their other classmates, and then they were excited to share with each other how they got certain things. And when I find things like that, I feel that it's more fun for them and they want to do more. So they were asking, wait, do we have to stop? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? I have more. We love the hands-on activities during workplaces, which is kind of like centers. They learn through technology with provided applications that we used and downloaded onto our iPads. It fit the levels of all my students. I have students with IEPs, 504s, and are at a variety of learning levels. They allowed everyone in my class to feel successful, and I believe that this curriculum is going to allow all the students from kindergarten up to 5th grade to rise to their fullest potential. Thank you.
Hi, I'm also happy to be here tonight to share my experience piloting the Bridges math curriculum in my 4th grade class at George Washington. During this pilot, I was immediately blown away by how engaged my students were with math each and every day because of how hands-on and student-centered the curriculum is. The lessons give the students real-world problems in which they work collaboratively to solve, and these rigorous units develop the students' problem-solving skills and critical thinking. One factor that impressed me the most about the curriculum was how accessible it was for each student. Because the lessons utilized manipulatives and models, all of my students were able to be engaged in the lessons, including my English learners and my special needs students. The curriculum also provided additional challenges for my advanced students to keep them engrossed in the math. While solving rigorous math problems, the students enjoyed the challenge of engaging with the mathematics and being able to talk about the math with their classmates. So I highly recommend the Bridges math curriculum for our K-5 students because I believe it gives all of our students the opportunity and the skills to be successful with mathematics inside and also outside of the classroom.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matt Fredericks. I teach 6th grade math and science at Ben Franklin. And so I piloted both programs, CMP and CPM. I like them both. But what really stood out to me about CMP, which is what we're recommending, is the access to all the students in my class. They both had really high-level math and challenged all the highest learners, but I thought this was the best way to really reach every student in the classroom. One thing that I really was impressed by was that they had a common theme that ran throughout every unit, and it basically gave them a schema for them to kind of attach all the new math skills that they were learning. It was a common common theme throughout the whole unit, and I think it really worked for them. So highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to language arts, our committee is recommending Study Sync for the new 6 through 8 ELA, ELD curriculum. One of the things you can see, we have up there some of the program strengths. For me, as a former language arts teacher, one of the things that's really important is how connected this, this is now teaching to the Common Core. And one of the comments I heard from many of our pilot teachers was the real connection between how students are being tested on the CASP and seeing how this curriculum really is preparing them. Another thing, because we have now one-to-one devices in all 3 grades of middle school, there's an online platform. There's also a digital library, which is very exciting because even as we were doing our pilot, they were adding more books into the digital library that all students will access. There's the connection between the ELA and ELD curriculum, which has been lacking with our old curriculum, and so this is really exciting for me. And also, just for our students, they're what they call access handouts. For each lesson, there are handouts that the teachers have access to that are 3 different levels. And so we had pilot teachers who were regular ed teachers, teachers with kids who have IEPs, and also we had one of the pilot teachers who teaches EL 1 and 2, who also, her kids were able to access these through those handouts. And I know, working in our community, it's a really important thing that the literature that students have access to through this program is diverse, and that was a real strength of this program as well. I have a few comments that people made. One of the things the teacher said, the multiple reads and text-dependent questions help students access complex text. Being able to teach ELD and ELA in a 2-period block is great, and having a clear connection between the 2 programs really supported student learning. And then 2 comments by students. Writing was one of the parts that was useful to me because I knew what I was writing about, and I was able to share or talk with other students about my ideas. And another student wrote in their evaluation, the part of the program that was important to me was the note-taking or annotations, because most programs won't let you do that.
All right.
And here is when we came time to give our feedback, we surveyed 309 students, and then we had the teachers and staff who were on the pilot committee, and I just put up on this slide their overall rating. We were very happy. We went through a whole process at our last meeting talking about what it means to come to consensus, and then everybody, all the teachers and staff voted for the same program. So we had a unanimous vote. So it was really wonderful that we had that. You can see the student data is a little bit more diverse. I will tell you, one student did say a way to improve the program is maybe try to make the students not do as much work. But that was not the majority. I have some other things of kids. I couldn't believe this was a student who wrote this. The program is fairly efficient and effective for learning, so there's nothing much that can be done to make it better. And another student said, this program is already amazing. I can't think of anything to improve it. Out of the 309 students who gave their rating, 251, so an overwhelming majority, gave it a rating of satisfactory to excellent. So the vast majority of the students really enjoyed working with this curriculum as well.
So in closing, we wanted to just kind of give you an idea of what an effective implementation model and timeline would look like for all of us. And in terms of professional learning, on behalf of the TK through 5 program, there are 2 full days of training that will be offered in June and August, as well as some makeup dates and choice sessions at 3 institute days, meaning that beyond the initial training, our commitment is to provide the best support we can to the teachers out there as they're learning a new program, as they're coming back throughout the year with challenges and questions and ideas of how to improve, enhance, what else do they need. I mean, it is a all hands on deck approach. So that's kind of what we're thinking of for that. And then do you want to just speak on the weekly?
And then for 6 to 8 ELA, ELD, and the 6 to 8 CPM, the programs recommend a one-day launch. So we'll be offering choice of either June or August for those sessions to happen, as well as with the ELA, ELD program, there will be a leadership team training of 2 days this spring, provided we go forward with these recommendations. And also we'll be offering choice for these middle school programs at upcoming institute days to continue the support. And then we're super excited with our newly developed teaching and learning department that our instructional support teachers, who will be based at the school sites, will be giving ongoing support with all of these new curriculums moving forward in the year to come. Thank you for hearing our presentation and considering our recommendations for the new curriculum. Are there any questions?
Trustee Ali, you have questions?
I had a couple questions. As far as the English language arts, could you talk a little bit more about the access handouts? Like, what can you give us an example of what one of the handouts might? Yeah.
The handouts were responses for kids to answer questions about a text or reading that they did, and so they are based on different English language proficiency levels. So you would have, at the highest level, there were more questions, there were less sentence frames. Then as you went down to the access handout that gave the most support, there were many more sentence frames for students. They had less to write about, so that they were able to give their ideas but not have to write as much. And so that's what, does that answer the question?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
And as far as the connection between, well, you had the acronyms up there, but I'm not sure if everyone.
ELA and ELD?
So ELD is English Language Development.
Right.
However, I wanted to hear more about exactly what is the connection, or how did they improve the disconnection? I have an idea what the disconnection is, but yeah.
Well, in our old program, Pearson, which I taught for many years, and taught ELD as well. So ELA, English Language Arts, and then ELD is the English Language Development program that we provide for our English learner students. Before, with Pearson, there was English Language Arts program, and there was a separate program that was kind of, it would say, okay, we're reading about poetry right now, so let's talk about this kind of poetry. But it wasn't based on what they were reading in language arts. Now with this new program, the students who are in the ELD program, who are English language learners, will read the same texts as the regular ed students, and their English language development lessons are based on those readings to help them access those readings. And so that they get extra support in how to read these very complex texts.
Yes. Okay, thanks. That sounds great. And then I had a question about math. Maybe 2 questions, but my first question is, I know that CPM is like word problem based. It was like heavy on word problems. Is CMP the opposite, or is it based a lot on word problems as well? And then why did yeah.
Answer the first one?
Yeah, that's the first one.
So I don't think it's the opposite of word-based at all.
Okay.
What I meant when I said a theme, so for example, the theme for the unit that I piloted was about college students doing bicycle trips. And so they followed that, basically that word problem through the entire unit and worked in all these different mathematics through that idea. And I thought the benefit was, with every new math problem, I was able to refer back to these same 6 college students, and they were able to recognize that I didn't have to reintroduce context every single time.
Right.
And it was definitely word problem based, based on the context of, for this one, running a business about bicycles.
All right, thank you. And then is CMP, is it all digital, I mean, is it computer-based? Because I know CPM is.
I think it can be,
Okay.
the way that I did it, and I think the other, like my 6th grade math partner at Ben did it, was mostly paper-based. But I believe they have the option of doing both.
Okay, thank you.
I actually utilize a little bit of the digital resource on the CMP3. And it's a robust application. It's going to be a learning curve, but it has some great interactive tools. One that I was really excited about, it's crazy, was the monkeys on a wire, because it introduces a quite complex idea using monkeys and monkey sounds. I know that sounds crazy, but I have looked long and hard when you're developing this idea of time and distance in math to not have something going at a diagonal. I know that sounds crazy, but they had a great application for that. It does have a strong digital program. We didn't use it as much this time because it was such a different program. We kind of stuck to paper and pencil this time, but in the fall, I'm sure we'll get into that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, I'm excited to hear all this stuff. Makes me want to go back to school. But thank you for all the work. I mean, this is really intense. Really is. I mean, I think once we're hearing all this, we're sure this is going to be the right program for our kids. So thank you for all the time you guys are spending. This is wonderful.
I agree as well. I just want to thank everybody for all the work. It sounds like it took quite an ordeal to get all the ducks lined in a row and to actually make a decision, and for all the teachers and staff who actually piloted the program. It sounds like these couple ones were the best programs. So I just want to thank everybody for doing all the hard, heavy work to get this done.
I want to ask a question, or sort of not specifically about these, but I remember the last time we had a new math adoption, and it was a really radical change from how we'd been doing, and the problem that a lot of students had in the upper grades was that it assumed that you followed their approach since kindergarten, and of course they hadn't. Do you feel like, I mean, maybe it's less of a change because we're already working on more of a Common Core approach to it. You think it's going to handle that well for the students who aren't going to get to start at the beginning and work their way up?
Yes, we do. Actually, that was a key component. We had people on our pilot committee that were here for that. We made sure that we held our debrief sessions with TK to 5 teachers and 6 to 8 teachers so they could have those discussions and make sure that it felt that there was a connection all the way through, so much so that the kid that was showing up, although they may not have the identical same program in primary and middle, but the themes and under the Common Core math practices and the principles of the focus, the rigor, the coherence, and the math practices, those are continued throughout. So they are definitely embedded in a way that it's not apples to oranges, but 2 different programs that have the same philosophy and the same type of instructional.
I mean, I'm just thinking of the transition we're making from what we've been using, the everyday math, we're now changing into a whole other, I mean, that was kind of where that problem came before. It's not necessarily moving from the grade school version up to the middle school, but yeah, just.
Yeah, I mean, likely, I think we're going to see some of those things. I think the everyday math, there was a lot of graphic organizers and ways that the work was presented on a sheet. that if you're a fifth grader getting it for the first time, you have no idea what to do with it because there are no instructions on
Right.
what you need to do. So I'm guessing there will likely be some of that similar stuff, but I think, the fifth graders, and probably your sons, struggled through it, and and I think with some support from the coaches on site, they can sort of highlight that for our teachers about how they can help students approach these things and understand them.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Madam President, I have one more question. I also had a question about probably, for the coaches. Are you the ones who are developing the methodology for delivering the curriculum, or was that embedded in the ELA? I'm talking about ELA right now. Was that already in there? Yes. Okay. So, how much choice do the teachers have? Are they all going to follow the same? Okay, you already know what I'm asking.
For the new ELA ELD program, it is set up into 4 units of study with the timeline that each unit would be covered in a quarter's worth of school time. What the teachers who piloted loved about the program was the choice that was embedded within the program. Because it's an online platform, teachers lesson plan ahead of time, and they go through the lesson online, and they pick and choose which of the areas they would like to cover and the duration of time they want to spend in that particular area. There is a recommended path to get you through the 45 days of that unit. But within that, there's a lot of flexibility and teacher choice based on the needs of your students. What we liked about this program was, in addition to the actual text and lessons, there are novels that go along with the program that teachers can embed within the program. There is a 16-day writing unit within each of the 4 quarters, so teachers can do process writing, or they can supplement in our writing workshop program. And then there's also some inquiry and research-based programs that they can pick and choose from that are on the themes of each of the units. So teachers will be able to make a lot of choices, yet have a lot of structure of materials available to them, so they won't need to do a lot of outside time hunting down resources. There's lots of resources for them to choose from. And the digital library is phenomenal. I mean, there's thousands of titles that kids will have access to at all times, and they can download those titles onto their device, so whether they have access to the internet or not, they can still be reading their books. So lots of options for teachers.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad I had a question about transition and access, and what I really like hearing is the flexibility that the teachers will have, especially to be able to tweak it according to their classroom's needs. So a lot of heart and, sweat and love went into this, obviously. I mean, a lot of investment and commitment from all of you, and we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough, because we were just having this discussion last night. We have great pride in JESD. We go throughout the county, and when people know that we're from JESD, they just light up. They're like, yeah, you guys are doing this and you're doing that. And, it speaks to the work and the heart that you bring to the table to ensure that our students and our communities are filled with quality, and a level of excellence, that our students are ready when they leave us. So thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. So that helps us to go on to the next step of this evening, and that is to move towards the adoption. So right now, we're looking at mathematics curriculum adoption. The administration recommends adoption of the following mathematics instructional materials. So do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the adoption of the following mathematical instructional materials. Bridges TK 25, published by the Math Learning Center, and Connected Mathematics Project 3 for grades 6 to 8, published by Pearson.
Second the motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Now we look at English Language Arts, English Language Development Curriculum Adoption. The administration recommends adoption of the following English Language Development Instructional Materials. Do we have a motion?
I would like to make the motion that we approve the English language, art, English language development, instructional materials, Study Sync for 6th to 8th grade, published by McGraw-Hill Education.
Second the motion.
Everyone seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Thank you all again. Now we have a JESD Educational Technology Plan, and the administration recommends the approval of the JESD Educational Technology Plan 2018. And we have Ms. Tony Barone. Yes.
Good evening. I'm not sure if I should use a step stool or not, but I'll just try it without.
Up to you.
As I mentioned last time I was here, we've been working for the last year and a half on a JSD educational technology plan to update a plan that we currently had in place. So tonight I wanted to talk about the process we used to develop that plan and also the major recommendations that came out of it, knowing that you have read a full copy of the plan and the agenda. And again, I'm always challenged by the clicker, so we're going to see how this goes. Our goal in starting this endeavor was really to think about how to leverage the technology that we have in order to support student learning. As you've seen, we've had tremendous growth in the amount of technology we've had in the district over the last 3 years, and so our challenge is now, as you heard with our curriculum adoptions, how can we really utilize and leverage what we have in best support of student learning. In order to create this, we partnered with an organization called Digital Promise, which is actually based in Redwood City, but they're a nationwide organization to help us create this plan. We used a process called challenge-based learning, which we'll talk about more, which was really a process that we used to engage the different stakeholder groups to help us develop a plan that would be very flexible and not rigid, knowing that technology changes all the time, adoptions happen, new technologies emerge, and how we can make a plan that's structured enough to provide us guidance, but also flexible enough to give us that room to grow over the next 3 years. Who is Digital Promise? They are a group of educators, and what their philosophy is they really focus on the intersection of these 3 groups: educators, researchers, and developers. Educators obviously are key because they must have every possible tool and resource to engage, motivate, and personalize learning for our students. Developers are also a key player in this as well because they must be informed by the education and research and be supported with connections with practitioners to design products that actually solve the issues that we have in our classrooms every day. And researchers must evolve new methodologies that produce results in a way that matches the speed of technology, as we know changes all the time. So it's really that connection between neuroscience, cognitive science, and the evolution of data in how products are developed. As you can see with our 2 curriculum adoptions, how we really feel like there's been a major evolution in the options we have with textbooks based on this whole connection between educators speaking with developers and based on sound research as well. So the approach that we used was one called challenge-based learning, similar to problem-based learning or project-based learning, where you actually start with a real-world problem, and ours was how do we leverage technology to support student learning. The framework has 3 phases: engage, investigate, and act. I'm going to need Sandy to click in a second, but not yet. Thanks. What we start with is what they start with as a needs assessment, and this is their Digital Promise journey. And if you actually read it as a map, starting at the bottom, leading to the top, when they first met with Cabinet, they do a quick assessment of where a particular district is in terms of technology. And some districts are at that ready phase, where you're ready to start, you're ready to manage, you're ready to launch, but you don't have a lot of pieces in place. After our assessment, they found that we were really in the set phase. We had a continuous improvement cycle going where we had a plan in place, we were continually looking at how technology can support our students, We had a digital literacy program. We were talking about digital responsibility. We were really striving toward that always available access. We were set, and so what we really needed their help was to get us to that top level of go, of how do we really define what powerful use of technology is in the district, and ultimately how do we create confident learners who are leaving our schools at the end of 8th grade. So this was our journey map that really set the stage for how we created the plan. These were the areas that are included in the plan. Obviously, we want to make sure we have sustainable funding to support all these programs. A robust professional learning plan for all of our teachers, making sure we are in compliance with all board policies based on state and federal regulations, keeping in mind the education frameworks that are coming out, and all of the network infrastructure that makes that happen, that we have devices, that we have a robust internet, that we're keeping pace with the need that we have. I shared this at AC on Monday. We had 4,000 kids log in on Tuesday morning to start taking the SBAC test, and so that was our big test, and they were okay, which was great. We looked at many different stakeholder groups, our different leadership teams at the district, teachers, the educational and informational technology department members, students, parents, and members of our community. The investigate phase was really about information gathering. And so we held some stakeholder meetings at Cabinet and at AC to really get their feedback of what direction we wanted to set. And then we held several investigation groups, and they're kind of like focus groups where we had students and teachers and parents come, and I'll show you an example of what we did, but we really started with a big idea and had all of those groups give their feedback on what they saw the challenges and opportunities were with using technology in our district, and then began the process of creating solutions as well. We also used the existing surveys that we already are doing for families, like the LCAP survey, and they did an exhaustive, extensive review of all of our board policies to make sure we are in compliance with everything that we need to have. Our outcomes was we were able to create a 3-year educational technology plan. We were able to ensure we are fully compliant with all policies and procedures that are in place, and that we have options for a robust professional learning plan for all of our stakeholders, both classified as well as certificated. The premise of the plan is based on the big idea of progress, and this came out of meetings at Cabinet and Administrative Council that we then went and took to all the stakeholder groups. The message that came out from the whole process was, we want our students to make progress. So if we're investing in technology, how do we know that our students are progressing? And so out of that, we developed an essential question of how do we leverage technology to ensure continued growth for each and every student? And so that was the challenge that we put out to all the stakeholder groups when we met. The next page kind of gives you an idea of what they call the challenge-based learning canvas, where there were questions that the stakeholders generated. They thought about ideas for how we could solve them, and then we looked at what the research said for how we could solve those problems. Sandy, if you could just give a quick click on those. This just shows you the master list of all of the questions, both students and teachers and parents all generated, and then we went through the process of grouping them by theme, and that really helped frame the actual writing of the draft. And I have to say the kids had really great questions too. It was fun to hear some of those. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the theme one. So the first one was just all the questions that were generated, so that one is actually the themes that emerged. Lots of questions came up, like how do we train the teachers? How do we make sure they're equipped to do what they need to do? Lots of kids had questions like, how can we stay safe online, and what do we do? So it really helped drive a lot of the content that's in the plan. Yeah, it just kind of gives you an idea of the questions we collected. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. What came out of this process were these 4 goals. One is to provide access to effective, equitable, and efficient use of technology. Second major goal was how do we support our students in becoming respectful, appropriate digital citizens in the community? How do we engage students and teachers in deeper learning through the phases of consume, connect, create and curate and how technology can help support those connections. And then ultimately, as I said earlier, how do we create confident learners where students know how to make choices, both digital responsibility choices in terms of what tool to use to get the job done. All these choices we make as adults, how can we support our students into getting to that point? The mission statement that has evolved is, educators will leverage technology in order to provide a variety of new ways to teach and learn so that students can foster independent and creative thinking, problem solving, and collaboration skills. To give you a roadmap of the plan, the focus for year one is really all about improving technology-enabled learning. How do we access the tools we have to support student learning with technology? As we move into year two, it's about improving student-driven and competency-based learning, so thinking about the skills and knowledge we want our students to have and how we can help support them in getting there. And then ultimately by year three, really thinking about how can we move toward personalized learning and really getting at what does each and every child need and how can technology help support the needs of our varied learners in each of our classroom. There are several recommendations as you saw in the plan. We've mapped many of them into our LCAP goals because many of them were already there, so we just added some language. Those we didn't add were already in our plan or things we were already doing. So you'll see those highlighted in our LCAP plan as well. Recommendations for evaluation, to revise and implement the plan as changes and opportunities become available. So we'll determine what that looks like, maybe an annual review or what model we'll have for review of the plan. And then always just matching up to the measures in the LCAP goals to see the effectiveness of the technology and using those existing measures to measure the effectiveness of the plan. So our next steps, we are requesting the governing board acceptance of the presented educational technology plan for 2018-2021. Any questions? You okay?
No question. Comments? Well, we've come a long way. We've come a long way with our technology, and I thank you for that and everyone who's involved. It's another thing we fought for too, was to improve technology as long as I've been on the board. So I don't have any complaints, just good job.
Thank you.
Similarly, thanks for all the hard work for everybody who was part of this process. It sounds like we're putting together a plan that will actually put our students ahead, especially when it comes to moving on beyond our school district. So thanks for all your help on that.
The only question I have is at the front of the page says 2018, but that's saying this is going to be a plan for 2018 until 2021?
Correct. So yes, it's a 3-year plan beginning in 2018.
Okay, because it says it somewhere, first, second, third year, but it didn't have it on the title.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay? Just want to make sure we call it what it is.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if we have a motion?
I will make the motion to approve the JESC Educational Technology Plan for 2018.
Second.
Or through 2021.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We now move on to our business, business and financial procedures. And we are looking at our resolution number 18-04-25, the adoption of school facilities fee. And this is the administration recommends adoption of this board resolution, developer fee justification study for the district and an increase in the statutory school facilities fee on new residential construction and reconstruction at $3.79 per square foot and commercial industrial development at 61 cents per square foot. Do we have any questions? And if not, do we have a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve resolution number 18-04-25, the adoption of the school facilities fee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we need a for this one?
Yeah,
Roll call.
resolution.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Dr. Douglas,
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai.
Aye. Thank you. It is so passed. Now we are looking at contracted services with Sposeto, is that correct? Sposeto Engineering, Inc. And the administration recommends approval of a contract with Sposeto Engineering, Inc. for needed ADA and safety work at Thomas R. Policita Middle School for an amount not to exceed $102,381. And this will be funded by Fund 21, Measure I. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I
or
just wanted to speak to it a bit.
information?
We finished TRP in November, and we said, why do we have to do this? So we were, the DSA, the Department of State Architects, needs to sign off on all of the work that was done, and there were some items that were not addressed in the original building. The original contractor, maybe they were not willing, but they did provide us with a cost of what it would take to do this work, and it ended up being 3 times more than Sposeto Engineering was going to charge us to do this work. So we decided to not utilize the subcontractor that was on the project originally and go with Sposeto, and it integrated really well with the work that had to be done on the city sidewalks and streets to adapt to the new traffic patterns in the area.
So was that also the street you said?
There's some sidewalk work that has to happen, and because of the new driveways and new crossing areas that we have to address. Mhm.
So, so you're saying that even though it's still 102,000 more, that's still way less than we would have paid to the first?
Yeah, I believe the firm that did the original work, what was their estimate of what it would cost us to do it with them?
Well, actually, it was, part of it was like about a little bit higher, but for only part of the work. And then because the work is kind of broken up into 2 different areas, part is from the city of Daly City wanted us to do stuff, and then DSA wanted us to do stuff as well. And so they had originally bid on just the part that DSA wanted us to do, and it came up higher than this price, this total thing. And that didn't even include the other stuff.
All right.
And that amount would have been 3 times as much as that, or?
It would have been 2 to 3 times, yes, somewhere in there. And, one of the reasons is because when there's like change orders, they have, when they bid on a job, it's a big package thing, and then sometimes the change orders, they do it at a different price. They state what price they're going to charge it at for. And sometimes they like to make up additional funds that way, so.
So it backfired this time.
Do we have any other questions? If
That
not,
answered
do we
my
have a
question.
motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Sposeto Engineering, Inc. for needed ADA and safety work at Thomas Policita Middle School for an amount not to exceed $102,381. Project will be funded by Fund 21, Measure I.
So do they have a deadline of when they're going to do this, or do we have what's the contract look like?
They're working on it right now.
We're approving something without seeing it.
There was no contract attached to this?
There was a contract in by.
Well,
Yeah.
I sure didn't read it all.
Well, the work is to be completed as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so DSA will close us out.
Yeah, the DSA really wants to close out the project, so.
Putting pressure. So I second that motion.
Good.
All the, roll call on this, please.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Dr. Douglas.
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. We appreciate that. Moving on to certificated personnel, Mr. Valenti. We are looking at the administrative retirement. And we are, the administration is recommending approval of the retirement request from Ms. Patricia Page, who is the school psychologist, and that is to be effective June 30th, 2018. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I actually worked with Patricia, or Patty at a couple of my assignments. My last one when I worked with her was when I was principal over Fernando. She's a wonderful school psychologist. She's been with us for quite some time, and I just want to wish her good luck and enjoy her time in her retirement, or what's the new phrase we use?
Reframing. reframing her life.
reframing her life, as retirement is being referred to these days. So we urge the board to accept that retirement with appropriate resolution.
So when they retire, is it because she's on a longer schedule that it's
Yes,
June
the school
30th?
psychologist, that ESY is extended school year, so she generally works into the summer, working with the
Okay.
special education summer
So
schools.
she'll still be working there?
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
up through the 30th there.
Do we have any other questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the retirement request from Patricia Page, school psychologist, ESY, effective June 30th, 2018, and that an appropriate resolution be prepared commending her for her years of service to the district.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Page, for your service.
Yeah. And we're going to be looking for a replacement, right?
I
Soon,
would- yeah.
soon?
It's already out there.
Okay.
Okay. All right, again, you're on again, Mr. Valenti,
All
for
right.
classified personnel, with the exception of the removal of Francis Rooney.
Yeah, so we do have 3 classified personnel retirements. 2 of the 3 I worked with personally in my early years and a little on later on. So Ms. Colleen Meisenbach, who most recently was our snack bar manager at Fernando Rivera, has retired effective February 24th, and she's been employed with us for nearly 28 years, since 1990. And going down the list there, we have Cheryl Folsom, who's most recently been our office assistant at John F. Kennedy, who has been with us just about 19 years. And Ms. Tavios, who I worked with both at John F. Kennedy and at Policita, I think maybe twice at Policita, non-consecutively. And she's our bilingual aide, and she's been with us for 17 years. So we respectfully request that the board accept their retirement with the appropriate resolutions.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the retirement request as presented, and that the resolutions be honoring them for their service in our district.
Second.
Do we have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Excuse me. So we will now move on to our, again, this is always Mr. Koo's favorite part of every agenda, our board policies and our administrative regulations. And we are looking at December 2017, our board policy revisions, second reading. Do we have any discussion? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of the December 2017 CSBA Board Policy Revisions.
Second the motion.
We have a bunch of seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. And now we will look at the board policies and administrative regulations from October 2017. Do we have any discussion?
I actually had one question on that one. Sorry, guys. Hopefully just a, it was just a, it is on Board Policy 0500A. If you've got it open on your little device, that's on page 14, but I know that. And I'm just trying. I just noticed there was a paragraph about the district's alternative schools serving high-risk student populations and so forth, including continuation high school. Since we don't have any alternative
yes.
schools, do we want to delete that paragraph?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's the only question I had then, that's simple.
Okay. Did you have a question, Ms. Priscilla?
No.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion then
Then-
to amend?
Yeah, I will make a motion that we accept the October 2017 board policy revisions for first reading with that modification.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. We will now move on to our governance team member comments, reports, and reflections from the board, and also our reflections on our meeting guidelines. And we will start with Trustee Ali.
All right. I did attend, and it's actually on here as B, the Jefferson Union High School District Equity Audit Session. Thanks for putting that on there because I wasn't sure exactly what it was called, and I showed up a little late, and when I got there, the question was, what can the schools do to help our students with their career and college and career goals? And so I was able to give a little bit of input, and the second question was, what can the community do to help the students reach their college and career goals? So I'm not sure, but it seemed like they were taking this input so that they could put it into their LCAP. That's true, okay. So it was good. It was pretty much everyone from North County was there. You were there, right, Ms. McCoolick? Yeah, all right. So anyway, I don't really have a report, just that I was there and I gave input and saw everyone that needed to be there to give input was there. And I did look for Mr. Koo. Were you there?
I can make that nice.
So, yes, I don't feel like this is a formal subcommittee report then.
No, I think they requested the attendance of 2 board members, and the big thing is that they are looking at these markers on the dashboard, and that we are looking at as well, specifically the percentage and number of students who complete A through G courses that are eligible for CSU and UC admissions. So that's something that they really want to focus on, especially not just for all students, but for the major subgroups of students that they serve.
Okay, so that explains why a lot of the feedback was based on A through G. And one thing I did take note of was that Jefferson Union High School District now has a dual enrollment, or not one, but I think 4 or 5 dual enrollment classes. So the students get credit for Skyline College at the same time as they're taking their high school course. So I thought that was great. Probably the best thing I heard all night. As far as our guidelines, I briefly looked at, we will work toward the future, learning from the past. And I was on time, prepared, attentive, and ready to contribute, but the parking lot was packed. I was very surprised, and I did see Dr. Douglas.
I aced him out of the last spot.
But that's good. I'm glad.
We acknowledge you were here.
I'm glad to see how many people were here out, though, to support their children and to support us in our quest to support you. So thank you.
Even though it was crowded, there was more people keep coming in. I don't know where they parked.
Where they parked.
But that's actually a good problem.
Yeah, really.
That's a good problem.
Yeah.
Ms. Brusula?
Well, I'm not really paying a lot of attention to these anymore, as you all know, because I think we are doing this, and it really bothers me to see how it's written here. But anyway, we will keep our focus on the best interest of our students, and I think that's key for anything that we do. And tonight there was an awful lot of good stuff of what we are doing for our children and what we're doing for education. And so to me, that's there was a lot of engagement tonight and a lot of people here. And that's what we're supposed to do, and we're doing it. So anyway.
Thank you.
And as far as that, I already said earlier about closing the meeting in memory of some folks.
Trustee Koo?
I picked the same one. We will keep our focus on best interest of our students, and I agree on the reasons why we talked about making going to the library and actually learning at school so much more fun. We're talking about the textbook adoption as a way to kind of make sure that our students can get ahead, as well as the technology plan to make sure that they're advanced in technological fashions so that they can actually get ahead. So yeah, I agree with all that.
Well, I have to say, I think that we handled all of this very well. And one thing that I wanted to say was that, despite the fact this was a really loaded agenda.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the clock and saying, we did a pretty good job for a loaded agenda.
Well, I tried hard. I kept making motions.
And now I have something that I need to read and share. That yesterday I sent the following letter to the County Superintendent of Schools and to our own Superintendent, Bernie Vidales. And it says, It has been my pleasure to serve the Jefferson Elementary School District as a member of the governing board for the last 8.5 years, and I must now ask that you accept my resignation from the board for purposes of retirement, as we're fond of saying here, effective June 16, 2018. Serving on this board has been my privilege and honor, and I've grown and learned every day that I've been here and serving on this board. Now my children are out of school, and my husband is retiring from his position at San Francisco State of 29 years, and we are, as you said, reframing your life. I won't be able to continue my service to the school district because we will be moving away from Daly City to reframe our lives in a lot of new ways. I just want to thank each and every one of you for the support and the help that you've provided in whatever small contributions I've been able to make to the district. I'm going to miss all of you more than I can say, and this is really hard. But I'm also very excited about what we're going to be going on to do, so I sympathize with our retirees.
You did say June 10th.
June 16th.
16th.
I'm staying on until after the graduation.
Okay.
So until our students
So
have finished
we
out
have
their year.
time to still have you here. So-
Yes,
Okay.
you're not done with me yet.
Okay.
In fact, I've got another one of these.
No.
I promise you we'll be up to date by your last meeting.
You know,
It kills us all.
it's bittersweet to hear you read that to us tonight, but I mean, for all of us who hope to retire at an age that we had set out when we made plans, I've had to adjust my plan realistically, I think another 10 years, unfortunately. I mean, I congratulate you. It's been wonderful to learn from you and to sit alongside with you and serve. I'm deeply honored. I'm deeply honored. Thank you for everything that I've been able to just pick up and learn and keep, you know, and then I'm proud to call you a friend. Yeah, I wish you all the best. Share a lot of pictures with us. I know we're on social media together, so I look forward to celebrating you through your retirement, while you reframe your future and while we get to enjoy from a distance. So thank you for your service. Thank you for shaping our district and serving our community. We celebrate you, Dr. Douglas. Thank you. And I actually chose, we will communicate openly and honestly, respect differences, deliberate and address process. And we heard a lot of things tonight. And I think for me, I chose that because I think it's important that even though we may not always agree on things, that we should always communicate openly and honestly, because that's the only way we will know how to learn from each other, gauge where we're at, and understand the pulse of the community. But even though we may not agree, we still need to deliberate so that we can reach a point of agreement. But more importantly, we need to respect each other through that process, through the disagreements. And I think that that's something that a lot of us still need to learn throughout our country. We see it displayed daily, but I think it's important that we continue to model that here. So that's why I chose that. And I believe, I need to wear my glasses more. I believe that was Ms. Hanson standing there. I was asking Mr. Valenti. And I wanted to thank her tonight because I don't see her all the time. And I'm emotional now. Because on Mother's Day, her kindergartner, my older son, will be graduating from Cal. And if things go as planned, hopefully he'll land in law school. We don't know. But she had a big hand in, bringing him up, and I wanted to thank her. But I'll make sure that I get to see her personally. But she was here, and she's still with our district. And it's amazing to see that she's still with our district. And every chance that she gets, she's always asking. We run into each other all the time at Safeway in Westlake, and she's asking about him. And I just, there's so many of you that touch so many lives, and you don't always have the opportunity to hear the thank yous. So you're Miss Hanson for me tonight. I say thank you for all that you do and all the lives that you touch and all the children that you lift up every single day. Every single day. So with that,
So I wanted to thank Dr. Douglas for I just want to say thanks for everything you've done. I've been your seatmate for the past, 2.5 years, and it's been a pleasure.
Has it been that long
It's
already?
been 2.5 years already. Yeah. I just say thanks for everything. We'll have our farewells later on, but just want to say, extend my appreciation and thanks for
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on the board, and I know that there'll be a lot more that we're going to say as it gets closer to the time, but thank you for letting us know. And I think it sounds exciting what you told me that you guys are going to be doing, but I give you a lot of credit because you're brave. But this is great. I mean, it's something your husband wants to do and you want to do, and do it now while you can. Sometimes we wait too long before we can't do what we really want to do. So I wish you lots of happiness and that you really, really enjoy what you're doing, because that's going to be all of it.
That's the plan.
Well, congratulations, like we all said. I'm going to miss seeing you over at the library.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I saw you before I was on the board.
That's
so
true.
That's the way I always look at you. But yeah, thanks for all the things that I've learned from you as well. I've had a lot of fun on the board with you. We had a lot of progress, so thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Douglas. So right now, we will be moving on to our closed session, and I don't know if we have any persons that, we do not have any persons that wish to address the board for a closed session, so we will take a short break before, do we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
before
we
we
need to
continue.
clean up here, yep.
Yeah,
And
we
then,
will take a short break before we,
do you want to close in memory of those folks?
Wait.
we have a few, and I will ask Marie, because you've got a few there, I will read these, and if you wouldn't mind reading
Okay.
the ones that you have.
Okay.
So we would like to close out the meeting this evening and have a moment of silence for some individuals who have passed on. And we have Ruth Bernadette Lapachet. She's a retired school secretary at Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. And also Florence Highland, a retired senior clerk typist. She was a classified personnel with us. Marie, did you want to share your name?
Yeah, so that's one of the names I had. Catherine Hayden and Julia Pedretti and Cecilia Enright. I think earlier I mentioned about who they were. Anyway, so
Thank you.
those are.
Okay. If we could please take a moment of silence to commemorate these wonderful individuals. Thank you.
I know there's another one.